Hello. So I figured I'd hop on here really quickly. I don't know what the lighting's gonna look like. But anyway, I know I've been MIA for a minute, primarily because I'm such a private person. So then I'm probably like overthinking like the stuff that I say on here, which is, I mean, it's the truth to me. So that's what should matter. But anyway, I wanted to get on today and just say that I think I need to like get a little more clear about like what I want this channel to be about. I feel like I definitely need to focus on my minimalist side because I know that a lot of people are interested in. Oftentimes you don't usually see a lot of Black women who are saying, I'm a minimalist. I wear the same thing every day. So I feel like I need to touch on that. I also need to, I feel like, kind of update what's going on with this money journey now that I'm working part-time and how I'm making all these puzzle pieces fit. Teaching, of course, is a big deal to me. And then I'm even considering sharing some of my experiences with online dating because, oh Jesus, I could write like fiction based on the things that I'm encountering. But anyway, the purpose of today's video is to give you a grading hack. It has changed my life. So shout out to my friend James who gave me this tip. So I teach high school, and part of my issue this year is that like I cannot be the type of teacher I used to be, meaning how you bring stuff home and then you're checking stuff. Well, I can't because I have to use that time outside of my part-time job to figure out ways to make other money to supplement my income. So I was like, how can I do this? And then also, you know how kids are, especially the older they get, they're not reading that feedback anyway. We already know they're not reading that freaking feedback. So you hand it, they might ball it up, put in their bag. They didn't get it anyway. So then you feel like I wasted how many hours on my weekend grading this and the kids don't even look. So he gave me a wonderful tip. And he teaches fifth grade math. And he told me that what he does is like he checks the stuff in real time. So like when kids turn it in, he's like, oh, hey, come here, sit right here. And they kind of go over it. And I was like, okay, how can I do that like in an ELA space? Y'all, life-changing, okay? Life-changing. So let me tell you what my classroom looks like now. So I've been doing this for about 3 weeks. It's amazing. Now, one, you do have to be close to the kids. You got to get close because they're literally like right here and we're talking. But what I have found is that when I check their stuff in real time, I can give them feedback verbally. I can write down my tips. They get their grade. They see how they did. And if they're not okay with the grade they received, they already have the feedback. You can resubmit it. And just to make things a little easier, what I've done is now I'm almost grading on what would be the equivalent of maybe like a rubric scale. And so because math is not my thing, I got to keep it simple. I like money though. I was like, let's do it like quarters, like $1 equals 100. So if you had all the elements of the assignment, you get a star equals 100. If you had most of the elements, you showed that you were proficient with the skill, you get a check equals 75%. If it's incomplete, now depending on how incomplete, either you get a 50 or you get a 25. Now, the standard incomplete is a letter I in my little paper grade book. And if it's a 25, then I just write that in. And then, of course, if you didn't do anything, I just highlight that. And all the highlighted things in my grade book I know are zeros. Now, what this looks like logistically is you're always either a week or a few days behind. So for instance, last week for our warm-ups, my students did, for all week, we did Antigone. Of course, I feel like my buddy knows when I'm recording because then he comes busting in. But anyway, my students did Antigone. So we did that as a warm-up for 4 days. So we use Springboard. That's one of our resources. So they all have like, the actual consumable book. We don't write in it, but we just use it. So anyway, they did that. And each day I timed out about how long it should take them to read certain parts because I don't like my warm-up to be more than about 15 minutes max. So on the board, it shows this is the part you're reading of Antigone today. Here's the one question that goes with it. Well, then at the end of the week, when they turned it in on Friday, as they were working on an assignment that was given during the work period, I could call you over and say, hey, Michelle, come here, let's talk about this. Okay, I see you're missing Wednesday. Remember, if you're absent, you can access my slides online. Or, hey, this wasn't quite the right answer. What do you think? And it gave me a chance to share strategies with like my kids who in particular are kind of struggling, because I think sometimes when you get to high school, part of the reason why you're struggling isn't so much your cognitive ability as much as your work habits and just little tips and tricks that you haven't figured out. And so like I shared with some of the kids, I said, we go over the warm up every day. So technically these answers should be right, which means when you hear us sharing, if that wasn't what you wrote, then underneath it, you can just write revised and then you can write it down. So then that way you're also processing, you're able to evaluate what you wrote, what's the correct answer, and how do those match. So I'm telling you, it has changed and saved me so much time, changed my life as a teacher. And so what that looks like on my end is I print out a copy of the grade book. I just have a sheet, 2 sheets, because I work part-time, so I only have 2 classes. And what I do is I just take it straight out of our grading system. We use Synergy, and you can print like blank grade book. That's what I do. Then what I do is at the top, I just write numbers. So, assignment number 1. Then down at the bottom, I will write what that assignment is and the standard connected to it. And I also put the date, so then I know when I'm putting it in the grade book. And I'm telling you, as they're sitting there, I will literally put a star on your paper. I put a star in the grade book. You can go on your way. If you get an I put an I in my little paper grade book. I tell you what you need to finish. You can go on your way. It is amazing, because what that means is now there is no more lugging papers home, doing all that by yourself. The kids don't read it anyway. And I have found that I really feel like it's helping the kids know exactly what they could work on. And it's also giving me a chance to differentiate, because, since I've only been in high school 2 years, it's very different than when I was teaching elementary school and I'm calling you over to the table and I have my little reading groups. So we're not quite at that level. But what I do is, if I have found that, for instance, we use the reading inventory as a measurement. And so I do sometimes pull kids over based on their Lexile. And just say, hey, let's practice this strategy, because I see you're kind of having a hard time with it. But when I tell y'all, it will change your life. Now, the only thing is the kids are in extremely close proximity to you. So if you're someone who's a little skittish about being that close to the kids, I'm not quite sure how to work around it. But what I do is I just I'm in a class. I have enough space, extra desks, that I can sit at one desk and I can actually have 2 or 3 kids with me. So that way, as I'm giving one feedback, the other one can be reading over stuff. And it works however you want. But the takeaway is grade the stuff in class, and not grade the stuff in class in isolation while the kids are over there working. But no, literally grab a stack of papers, call the kids over. It usually takes me, I have on average about 23 kids. So it usually takes me about 2 days to get through their work. And our team, we do 2 grades a week. I think we're moving to 3 grades now. Don't get me started on that, but 2 grades a week. So you figure it works out. I hope you found it helpful. Leave me a comment down below if you try it. I'm telling you though, it will absolutely change your life. And then the cool part is the kids will already have gotten the feedback by the time you put it in the grade book. I just pick a day of the week. I tend to try to do like Tuesdays and Thursdays as my day to put grades in, but it just varies on kind of how much I've gotten done that week. And again, you're definitely like a week behind, or at least an assignment behind. But again, it's fine. And I really feel like it's raised the accountability of my students, because they know, she's going to check this with us. And on my slides, let me know if you're interested in that. I can share how I kind of organize myself as a teacher. But on my slides, if the assignment is graded, I will highlight it in blue, and then up in the corner, it'll say graded, and that's blue. So they know, okay, this isn't just a practice task. This is actually being graded. And they know that our warm-ups 9 times out of 10 are being graded. And then some of the work period stuff. Normally the work period stuff is kind of cumulative. So, if you're doing the stuff throughout the week, when it gets to the graded portion at the end of the week, if you've been keeping up, then it'll work. So again, I hope that helps. So let me do a quick recap. 1, Do not take stuff home. Grade it in real time. Call the kids over. In my room, I have a bin for period 1, period 2. I put little paper clips at the top. As soon as the kids start on a work period task, I just grab a stack of papers and I call kids over. You'd be surprised. Like, it literally takes maybe 2 to 5 minutes to give feedback, depending on the academic ability of the kids. Now, what I'm finding now is I'm being a little bit more strategic. So what I do now is I try to get to I call them my yoga group, because they're the kids that as soon as you say it, they get it. And you're just like, ooh. I try to do my yoga group first, because I know that they're not going to need a bunch of feedback and we can get through those kind of quickly. Then I go down to my strength training group, because it's a little harder but not super hard. I call them kind of like my Pilates group. I talk to them next, and then what I do is I save my cardio group, because they make me work the hardest. I save them for last, and it's just because I know they're going to take more time, and I've gotten more strategic with that group in particular. And I may call 2 or 3 kids over at a time, because chances are they probably have similar issues. And if not, that's okay, because I can give you your feedback. You could go back. But that's how I've been doing it. So again, try it. Tell me how you like it. Life-changing now. And now the kids know the symbols. I'm telling you, I've only been doing it 3 weeks. The kids know the symbol. If you get a star, that's 100. If you get a check, that's a 75. If you get an I, it's probably a 50. If it's not a 50, then I'll actually write a 25 on there. But y'all, life-changing, absolutely life-changing. I don't have to bring stuff home. The kids know exactly what they want to do. If parents want to reach out about how can my child improve their grade, they can resubmit the assignment that I gave them the feedback on in order to get more points. All my slides are posted. They have links in them. I mean, it's just the system is getting there. But I'm telling you, again, shout out to my buddy James, who has changed my life, y'all. And you just feel like you get to know the kids better. And oftentimes, like sometimes the kids aren't great with expressing themselves in writing, but then when you ask them the question, they're able to articulate, their thoughts verbally. So it really works out. So I hope you found this helpful. I promise I am going to try to post once a week. I'm super routine based. So I think my goal is for next month to try to do the first week might be a teacher video. The second week might be a minimalism video. The third week might be a money video. The fourth week might be a dating story time video. So I will keep you posted. But for all you who have not unsubscribed and you are still riding with me as I try to figure this out, I really appreciate it. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. I'm recording this on a Sunday, and this is our last week before spring break. And then after that, we have 6 more Mondays before the end of the school year. Because I'm in the Southeast United States, so we get out kind of early. We go back early, but get out early. So again, I hope everybody is having a great day. Have a great week. I hope you found this helpful. And always, or as always, remember, be grateful. Bye-bye.